All right. So I couldn't live stream last week because I had electricity issues. So I'm going to continue the plans that I had for the live stream next week. In the meantime, something that I've been really wanting to try and do is set up a local LLM, which according to this article is possible. So you use a service called Ollama, and you can use the continued dev extension for VS Code. And you can host models on your own device. And then run them without worrying about API tokens, without worrying about privacy breaches. The disadvantages, obviously, if your computer is not able to run these models, you're going to have issues. And also, I think sometimes the local models apparently are not as up to date as the sort of live ones. But hey, I want to give this a go, see what it does. I've got VS Code open here with a local WordPress site. If you've been watching any of my streams, you'll know that I use Studio, and I have a copy of my personal blog, or at least the data from my personal blog, on my local instance. So it's just a default WordPress install that has a bunch of data in it. So I'm going to try now and configure my VS Code to use one of these local LLMs and see what it looks like, see how it works. So according to this, it's three things. It's continue dev and setting up the local server. I'm going to start by setting up the local server first. It looks like Studio has an update. We'll do that later. Because I think that setting up these things might take a while. So I'm going to do that first. So if you download this, looks like it works on Linux and Windows, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll try this out on Linux as well. Let's see. So let's download this. And I'm guessing some of these LLMs are probably pretty large as well, so I might edit out some of the actual download processes. There's the download. Okay, it looks like it's an app, so I'm going to just drag it to my applications. And let's get this thing up and running. Okay, your own large language models, that's fine. Install the command line. Okay, so it's a command line installation. Again. All right, and then you can run your first model. Now, in the, okay, so there's Ollama and then DeepSeek. All right. It would be cool if there was some way of listing all these things. I'm going to go copy this out for now. So let's just chat please Thomas. I'm sure that one's fine. Okay, so let's open up my terminal. Let's run that command and see what it does. Okay, I have no idea how long this is going to take. It's 2 gigs, so it doesn't look like it's going to take too long. So I'm probably going to edit this out and come back once the download's finished. So while that's downloading, I see there's the search models option here. So this one recommends DeepSeek Coder for autocomplete. So I'm going to have a look and see if we get that. Oh, there we go, DeepSeek Coder. Okay. Wonder which one is better. I guess V2. It's an 8 gig. It's a DeepSeek Coda. Updated a year ago, updated 9 months ago. Okay. Coda V2 is probably better. So this is the interesting part. And this is kind of the downside about local LLMs is you're going to only get it from when it was last updated. This one was last updated September the 6th last year, which is probably fine for WordPress development. Let's see if we can get Anthropic anything. There's Llama Claude 9 months ago. So there's DeepSeek R1. There's different sizes. I don't know which is which. DeepSeek R1. Let's go DeepSeek R1. Is there a Coda option? Okay, let's try the DeepSeek Coda one. That's 8 gigs. So I'm gonna have to wait for this to finish, which is only 30 odd seconds away. And then we'll install DeepSeek Coda while I set up Continue. What's cool about this is you could essentially do these things offline, which is kind of cool. So I want to test that out. I've got a trip coming up soon, so I might test these out on the trip, which could be fun. Come on, 8 seconds. All right. Don't know what else it's pulling. I'd love to know where these things are being installed as well. Who knows? Where does install LLMs? Library application support. Okay, that makes sense. That's like the default in Success. Okay. Hello? Oh, so this is actually, oh, interesting. How would I quit? Bye. Okay. So it looks like it, oh, that's running it. Oh, I don't want to run it, I just want to install it. Okay. Okay, so it looks like if you run it, you can use them right in your terminal. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how well it runs. All right, cool. So let's install Coda. And then how long is that going to take? Yeah, that's 8.9 gigs. So we're looking at about 12 minutes on my current internet line. So while that's happening, let's set up VS Code. Okay, so what I do have on VS Code is I do have, that's not what I want. I do have Copilot enabled on VS Code, so I'm going to disable Copilot for now. Hopefully I can disable that. And do I have anything else? No, I don't have anything else, so that's fine. So hopefully I can disable Copilot and install Continue at the same time. So let's see, Continue. Probably continue.dev. That's going to be slow because I'm busy downloading things in the background. There we go. So there it is. So let's install that. Now I have used Continue before. I used Continue in PHP Storm a while ago. I like the fact that I can configure Continue with the different LLMs. That could be interesting. So let's see what the steps are that are required. So you go into the settings icon and you should see a config page come up. Okay. Yeah, this is probably going to take a while now. I may have to do some editing. I probably should have installed Continue and then installed DeepSeek. That would have made sense. Anyway, I'm pouring my coffee while we're doing that. I wonder if you can, maybe I should pause this. Yeah, let's pause that. Let Continue finish installing. There we go. Read access to get email saying point of use in the free trial. If you're providing that to log in, you can use Continue with your own API keys or local model. Okay, so apparently I can just use a local model. So let's use a local model. Remain local. Ollama. Ooh, it actually picks up that Ollama is running. Cool. And you can actually download models here. That's kind of cool. So I didn't even have to do the whole like which one did I install? 3.2. Oh, that's 318B. I wonder why it does that. Okay, I'm gonna let it pull these chat models and see what happens. Oh, it's just giving me the command. Okay. All right, let's see what it's suggesting. Qwen 2.5 coder. So let's have a look and see what the latest version of that is. Qwen 2.5 coder. Okay. That's smaller, so that might be a better option. Let's do that. Okay. Kind of like the fact that it would be nice if it could auto detect what models I had. By choosing this option, continue to configure by a local config YAML. If you're just looking to use Ollama and still want to manage your config, continue, click here. Skip and configure manually. It would be nice if it picked up what my models were. But anyway. Okay. You know, my Python's coming up. Okay, so there's the models. So according to this, I need to specify the models. You can add the chat model with that format. Okay. So which one did I install? I installed 3.2. Okay. And the models. Probably should comment this out, I guess. So there's the model there. It's 3.2 chat. Llama 3.2. Let's just check that. The Llama 3.2. Yeah, that's fine. And then I want to install and configure the one I just installed, which was Qwen 2.5 coder, or at least the one that I'm busy installing. Let's see what this recommends with autocomplete. Title, stock coder, provider, Ollama. Okay, let's pop that in there. So this one is, we'll call this, let's just get the title from, I'm just going to give it 22. Yeah, I'm just going to do it like that. Okay, and provider Ollama and model there. Okay, so theoretically that works. Um, this is still downloading. So picked up the config's been updated. That's fine. I don't know what these custom commands do. I wonder if this is like your cursor rules or something. I don't know. Diff folder code base / commands. Cool to understand what these mean. Okay. So I've got the chat enabled. Oh, because it was a continue.py file. That's why that came up. All right. So that's the cursor extension. Now, want. Wish there was a way that I could. Okay, so what that does, not what I want. There's some tools. I can configure MCP servers. That's kind of cool. Create your own assistant. I'll come back to that later. So we've got Llama 2 chat installed. So let's open up. Oh. Okay. I wish there was a way that I could get this on the. Wait, move to secondary sidebar. Yes, there we go. Now it's kind of how I want it, sort of cursor-like. And I can see my code there. Okay. So let's give it a simple thing like, let's create a plugin. No, I don't want to create a plugin yet because that's a chat window. I want the coder to be, I need to wait for the coder to finish installing. All right. Let's see, can I configure MCP servers? Ooh. All right, I think I've got MCP configured. Yes, I do. That's kind of cool. I wanna configure that. So let me go and find my cursor settings. It was in. Now I've got to find learn content, develop pathway. I think it was. Yeah, here are the cursor rules. There's MCP. Okay, so let's go back here. So this looks like a YAML situation. So YAML, I understand. So let's say Passenger local. I have no idea what the schema is. Oh, wait. Oh, that just says new MCP server. Okay, so I think that's fine. Okay, so we'll give it the same name. So npx command -y. This is the command. And then env looks like I can just copy all of this. It would be so cool if this just works. Okay. Wait, continue, go. Must continue. Why did that get removed? Do I need to be inside of something now for this to work? It's kind of a bummer. Okay. The code for a custom post. Okay, so that seems to work. So now I want to get this working and continue. Okay, so that seems to work pretty well. So I've got that installed locally. Now, how do I get the continue window back? This is annoying. Okay. I wish there was a easier way to do that via a keyboard shortcut, but anyway, it's all good. Okay, so we don't seem to have active MCP service. What happened to my MCP service? Maybe I need to enable it. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's go to an agent and let's go to Encoder and let's open up a new plugin folder and let's say create a new custom plugin inside the bookstore folder that registers a custom book post type. And let's see what that does. So theoretically, this is now working with my local agent, my local LLM. What does that even do? Could not resolve. I don't even know what that's doing. Okay, let's try and... Okay. So let's go Command I. Okay. Register a WordPress... create the basic scaffold for a functional WordPress plugin that registers a custom book post type. It looks like it's in edit mode, so maybe that's what I should have done. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's looking better. That's looking better. Okay. It doesn't give you any kind of feedback. That kind of works. I'm going to see if I can... Interesting. Assistance looks interesting. I'd like to dig into that. But at least it looks like it is working. I'm going to disable my networking now because I'm recording this, and I could never actually do this on a live stream. But I'm going to completely disable my networking, and let's test this. Make sure that I can't access the internet. No, I cancelled access to the internet because I have my network cable installed. So how do I disable that? Close this down. So let's get into network. Let's disconnect that. Okay, so now I shouldn't be able to connect to the internet. Yeah, not connected to the internet. Good. So now can I still generate code? Okay. So let's say update the code to conform to WordPress coding standards. Looks like it's working. It's very slow compared to like a hosted version. I wonder why that is. It thinks I'm working with... No. Thinks that I'm working with Python code for some reason. I need to be able to tell it that I'm not. But it works. I wonder if it's because of the model that I'm using. I wonder if there's a model that's better for like WordPress, PHP. See, I don't see PHP in here everywhere. Anyway, okay, it is there. All right, so it does work. I'm going to turn my networking back on. It does work. It certainly is an interesting experience. I'd love to experiment with this more. It looks like I'm going to need to do a lot of work to get this close to cursor, but at least it works, which is interesting. So anyway, if you want to try this out yourself, I will share the link to this article in the comments on YouTube. I feel like this could be fun to play with when you know you're offline. I feel like it needs a lot more configuration than what I'm prepared to do right now. But it certainly is an interesting experience. Anyway, next week, or at least this Friday, I should be back to live streaming, so do check that out. I hope you've enjoyed this short little demo of configuring a local LLM and using it. And I might come back to this topic. It's an interesting one to dive into. The nice thing about this is I don't need to be on the internet, so I can use this offline if I can get this working. Yeah, it could be a fun one to look into. All right, that's it for this video. Bye.